the last job. Joe had been a career criminal for as long as he could remember. He had pulled off countless heists, evaded the police at every turn, and amassed a small fortune in the process. But now he was getting old, and he knew that he couldn't keep up the life of crime forever. So he decided to do one last job, something that would set him up for the rest of his life and allow him to retire in peace. He spent months planning the heist, gathering intelligence, and assembling a team of skilled criminals to help him. The target was a wealthy businessman who kept a vast collection of expensive jewels in a heavily guarded mansion on the outskirts of the city. It was a risky job, but Joe knew that if they could pull it off, they would be set for life. The day of the heist arrived, and Joe and his team made their way to the mansion. They slipped past the guards and broke into the safe, filling their bags with diamonds, rubies, and emeralds worth millions of dollars. But as they were making their escape, they heard the sound of police sirens approaching. They had been caught, and there was no way out. Joe knew that he had to act fast. He had a plan, one that he had been saving for just this situation. He handed his bag of jewels to his team and told them to make a run for it. Meanwhile, he stayed behind to distract the police and buy his team enough time to escape. Joe was caught and arrested, but he knew that he had done what he had to do to ensure that his team got away. And sure enough, they did. They split up and disappeared into the night, each with a fortune in stolen jewels. Joe spent the next few years behind bars, but he didn't regret what he had done. He had made sure that his team got away, and he knew that they would be forever grateful. And when he was released, he found that they had left him a small portion of their haul, enough to set him up for a comfortable retirement. Joe knew that he had pulled off the last job of his career, and that it had been a success. He had made sure that his team got away, and he had secured his own future in the process. He may have been a criminal, but he was also a loyal friend, and that was something that no one could ever take away from him. Years passed, and Joe lived a quiet life, enjoying his retirement in a small cottage by the sea. He kept in touch with his former team, who had all moved onto their own successful lives, thanks in part to the wealth they had gained from that last job. Joe often thought back on his life of crime, and while he didn't regret the thrills and excitement that it had brought him, he knew that he had made the right decision in retiring when he did. He had lived a full life and had accomplished everything he had set out to do. One day, as Joe was sitting on his porch overlooking the sea, he saw a cop pull up in front of his cottage. It was one of his former team members, someone he hadn't seen in years. The man got out of the car and approached Joe, a small box in his hand. "I have something for you," he said, handing Joe the box. "It's a token of our appreciation for everything you did for us on that last job." Joe opened the box and was surprised to find a diamond-encrusted watch inside, worth more than he had ever seen in his life. "I can't accept this," he said, handing the box back to his former team member, but the man refused to take it. "We insist," he said. "You risked everything for us, and we want you to know how much we appreciate it." Joe finally relented and accepted the watch, touched by his former team's gesture. He knew that they would always be grateful to him for what he had done, and that he had made a difference in their lives. As his former team member got back in his car and drove away, Joe sat back in his chair, admiring the watch on his wrist. He knew that it was a symbol of the loyalty and friendship that he had built over the years, and that it would always remind him of the last job he had ever pulled off. But most importantly, it reminded him that he had made the right decision in retiring, and that he could finally enjoy the fruits of his labor in peace.